Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today because I think we're going to have some fun with today's topic. My husband, being the great sport he is, agreed to pick out the makeup that I'll be using in today's video, but I don't think he quite realized what he was getting into. Truth be told, he was a little amazed by the size of the product piles he needed to look through in each makeup category in order to make his choices, especially, as you might imagine, the eyeshadow palette stack. So I want to take just a moment to publicly thank this amazingly patient man, my husband Steve, for all the hours of help that he gave me when I was preparing to launch this makeup channel. His skills as a researcher and his almost inexhaustible patience and technical knowledge really were absolutely invaluable skills for purchasing and setting up all the equipment needed to make these videos. So let me introduce my husband, Steve. Thank you so much, honey, for being willing to do this. I really appreciate it. He put in a lot of hours in making this dream possible for me, so I'm extremely grateful. And before he happily scoots out of the door, which I'm sure he's anxious to do, I thought it would be interesting to ask him just a couple of questions about the makeup he chose for me and his process of choosing that makeup. So, Steve, share with us, if you will, what your criteria was for choosing the makeup. What was the most difficult part of that process?
Yeah, I guess it's a little unusual for a beauty writer to include her husband in picking makeup out. I'm not totally foreign to beauty because of the activity of my wife, choosing beauty as a second career, and being a professional makeup artist, as well as our adult daughter that lives and works in LA and is a senior beauty editor for a top 5 beauty website. So I do pick up stuff kind of by osmosis. And also I do have a fine arts degree and have taken color theory classes and just sort of like a fly on the wall have noticed some of the stuff that Aaron or Elise talks about. And I do find it interesting, if nothing else, kind of from a background as an artist and the color and that aspect of it. It was a little bit formidable to be asked to choose from basically enough makeup that could fill a airplane hangar.
He does tend to exaggerate just a little bit.
But it was interesting and I had a good time. I enjoyed doing it. I'll admit that probably most of my choices were just gut choices, just things that just sort of appealed to me. Looking for interesting and let's call them pretty makeup. I do have, I guess, a few prejudices. I guess I don't gravitate to the over-the-top colors, the candy kind of colors. I think that sometimes those palettes, if I'm talking about eyeshadow palettes, they look pretty in the palette, but on someone's face, I think it belongs more in a circus than it does on on someone's face.
Tell us what you really think, Steve.
Yeah. Although there are times when those things are appropriate, going out to the club or out to dinner or in the evening, they do add some glamour, so I get that. And I did pick out examples of things that I thought would be practical and bring out the natural beauty. A look that I think appeals to men, believe it or not, and would tend to attract men, not make them run away as fast as they can. I would like to mention 3 looks that I see sometimes on Elise's computer when she is looking at videos that I particularly don't like and I would not recommend. One would be the clown approach, I'd call it, which is just the over the top kind of crazy colors. The other one I would call the raccoon look, which would be the eyeliner all around the eye, which is, frankly, let's just call it what it is, scary. And and the other one is, although I understand the need for false eyelashes, especially for people that have lost their eyelashes or want to add a little glamour, But, you know, the 1.5 to 2 inch long lashes, I call the centipede look. So I did pick out one eyeshadow palette that I thought the colors were pretty without being over the top, and at least we'll talk about that. There was another one I found interesting that looked like it had an approach of natural or more natural colors that were kind of warm browns and greens that I thought were very attractive and could look quite attractive. And there were some lip products that were, I thought, pretty and nice. Again, that could be very lovely on a woman's face. And I guess that's kind of pretty much the summary of why I picked the colors out that I did.
Okay, thank you. And if you wouldn't mind sharing this, you have one term that you use when I get dressed up and I put makeup on. I thought that would be kind of fun to share with everyone.
Okay, I call it getting fussied up.
Yeah. So occasionally we get fussied up. That hasn't happened for a long time because of the pandemic, but
Yeah.
hopefully soon we'll be able to enjoy some nights out and do some things. So thank you very much, honey. I appreciate your doing this.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll see how it all turns out. Before we get started, I just want to give a big welcome to those of you who are new to this channel and a big thank you to those of you who are returning. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, I also hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Now let's go ahead and focus on creating the makeup look with the products that Steve selected for me. Since I didn't want to get this video too long, I've already done my eyebrows and applied my eye primer. And these are the products my husband picked out for me to do my brows and to use as eye primer. He picked 3 Anastasia of Beverly Hills products for my eyes. The Anastasia of Beverly Hills Brow Definer, which is the larger brow pencil, which I have in medium brown. The Anastasia of Beverly Hills Brow Wiz Eyebrow Pencil, which is thinner. And the Anastasia Brow Gel. Let me show you these 3 products. I think he may just have been intrigued by the name, actually. And the eye primer is a brand new one, which I haven't yet tried, from Rare Beauty. I wasn't sure how much coverage this would provide, but actually it worked out quite well. And it was a little bit creamier and a little bit more moisturizing than the primer that I usually use. My husband especially liked 3 different eyeshadow palettes. One from BH Cosmetics called Glam Reflections, which is unfortunately no longer available. And my all-time favorite eyeshadow palette from Colourpop called At Forest Sight. I knew immediately why he was drawn to this one, and I was right, because it reminded him of colors from nature, and that's exactly what it was intended to do. The YouTube creator who collaborated with Colourpop on this palette based the color story on the part of the country where she lives, which is the Pacific Northwest. Let me show you these 2 palettes. Here's the BH Cosmetics palette, which, as you can see, is primarily neutral colors. And here's the At Forest Sight Colourpop palette. But since I've already created some eye looks with this palette, I decided to go with the 3rd one that he really liked, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. So this is the 3rd palette that Steve picked, which I'll be using. This is from Huda Beauty, and it's her Sand Haze Obsessions palette. 2 other palettes from Huda Beauty came out at exactly the same time. The Purple Haze Obsessions palette and also the Khaki Haze Obsessions palette. Let me show those 2 palettes to you as well. Here's the Purple Haze Obsessions palette. I kind of wish he'd chosen this one. And here's the Khaki Haze Obsessions palette. I know a lot of other YouTubers have really liked this one the best of all 3 of these palettes. First, let me go ahead and swatch all 9 of the colors from the Sand Haze palette for you. So here are all the colors. There are 5 mattes and 4 shimmers. And Steve picked this other product from Thrive to use as my inner corner highlight. It's their Brilliant Eye Brightener in the color Stella. It's more of a golden color, so this will be interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the eyeshadow and the Thrive Cosmetics inner corner color. I'm going to take the 2 center matte colors and combine those and try those first. And then I may go with this color down here as well. I just have one other Huda Beauty palette, so I'm somewhat familiar with the formula, but as you know, formula can vary from palette to palette, so you never quite know what you're getting. Okay, so this is a really very neutral look. I'm just going to go over it and make it a little bit deeper. These are pretty powdery, but that means they're going to blend pretty darn easily usually. Now I'm going to take this peachier color in the bottom row on the left, and I'm going to add that slightly above the other colors. I'm going to go ahead and use this pencil brush and apply that eyeshadow, that peachy color, in a very specific spot. And then let's blend. I think we need to go with some deeper tones. Now I'm going to go with a deeper dark brown up in the right-hand top corner. Use a fluffier brush so I don't get too much. I'm just going to go with the corner of my eyelid and just above that in the crease area. I do like that color. And then again, we're going to blend. Not getting a lot of fallout, which is nice. I was really struck by this bottom middle color when I was doing the swatches, so I'm going to try a little bit of that in the outer area of the lid. It is more of a foiled color, so I may not be able to get much on here with a brush. It's picking up a little, but not a lot. So I'm going to go in with my finger. Oh yeah, a lot more pigment with that. Then I want to pick up some of this softer color to put in the middle of my eyelid. Then I'm taking the lightest color we started off with, and I'm going to blend that into those colors I just put on the lid. And then I'm just going to go around the edges with this lighter color just to soften everything up a little bit. Then I'm going to use the darkest color in the top row as my eyeliner. So I've gone ahead and curled my lashes and applied my mascara, Tarte mascara on the top, my Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara on the bottom, and we're ready to go ahead with face products. For face primer, my husband picked Touch's Liquid Silk Canvas, and frankly, I'm really glad he did since I love this primer. And two of the reasons I love it is that it's oil-free and it really does help reduce the look of pores, and that is a real plus in my mind. And I also like the way it just glides on like silk. All right. Oh, I love the way this feels. It does have a slight fragrance, but it's not a fragrance that bothers me at all, and a lot of fragrances do. So I really enjoy this. For foundation, he chose a product from number 7. It's their Lift and Luminate Triple Action Serum Foundation. And although I do like this foundation, I did find it difficult to find the right shade. In fact, I had to return 2 bottles before I found the right one. The shade I'll be using is the lightest shade. Unfortunately, the shade range is rather limited with only 12 options, but this foundation does look skin-like, which I appreciate. The information on the number 7 site says that the formula is designed to be flexible so that it moves with the skin and doesn't migrate into fine lines. And I've definitely found that's true for this particular foundation. It really doesn't seem to settle into fine lines as many other foundations do. It also has light reflecting particles, which are designed to reflect light away from fine lines and wrinkles. I actually haven't worn it for a while, so it'll be interesting to see how it looks. Let's dot it on first to the parts of my face where I need the most coverage. And we'll see if I got enough. By the way, I tried a new product last night that absolutely knocked my socks off. It's a rare experience when you try a product and your mouth just sort of falls open. You're astounded by how well it works. And this product really amazed me. So I don't want to give it away because I'm going to show it to you in an upcoming video, but I absolutely love it. It's really nice to be pleasantly surprised by products, isn't it? I really do like the way this foundation works. Okay, I think I got enough with just that one pump. I'm going to go ahead and do some under eye corrector now. This is another product I'm so glad he picked out. This is my Colorscience Total Eye 3-in-1 corrector, and I absolutely love it. It depuffs, it color corrects, it also hydrates, and provides some protection at the same time. So I'm just going to apply it lightly, just in that area where I need the most correcting under the eye. And just a little on the other eye. A little goes a long way. So even though this bottle is relatively small, it has lasted me a very long time, which is always nice. Now, because I'm color correcting with a peachy color, I'm going to take a slightly lighter color than my foundation as a concealer and dot it on over the color corrector. I'm going to be using my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in Fair Beige. And since this doe foot applicator is so big, I'm just going to take a little bit off of it on my finger and apply it that way. Otherwise, I tend to get just way too much. So I just want to lighten this under eye area a little bit. And I want to make sure the concealer doesn't crease, so just taking my Maybelline banana powder and just pressing a tiny bit in. I don't want this to look cakey, so just a very tiny bit. This is Maybelline's Lasting Fix Translucent Banana Powder. Now, since I also need just a little bit more coverage in certain areas with my age spots, I'm going to use another concealer. This is my Clinique Even Better Concealer, which I really love. It really has great coverage. So I'm just going to pat in this Even Better concealer from Clinique, which matches my skin tone really well. And I just need to cover up these age spots. And by the way, the color of the Even Better concealer from Clinique is Alabaster. It also has a huge shade range of 42 colors, so it's really become one of my favorites. All right, we're down to contour, blush, and highlighter for the face. For contour, I'm going to use one of my favorite palettes. Unfortunately, it's no longer being sold. It's from Cover FX. And the reason I love this palette was that the colors were designed to go with the undertone of your skin. So this is for people with a light skin tone with a cool undertone. I just mixed the two bottom colors and then under my jawline. And I really love the fact that it's so creamy. I love how it goes on, and it also just is a beautiful color. It's not too deep, but it's effective. And let's blend that in. It really just gives a light contour effect, which is what I'm after. This is a very light look that we're going with the eyeshadow, so I don't want to overpower the eyeshadow with the rest of my makeup. I haven't used this for a while. I really forgot how much I like it. It blends in far more easily than any of the other contour products I have. And I think originally it came in 4 different color combinations for different skin tones and for different skin undertones. Just gonna powder my nose area and my forehead, the T-zone basically. And the blush Steve chose is this one from Patrick Ta called She's That Girl, which I've only swatched, but I've never actually applied it, so I'm really excited to give it a try. This is really an interesting blush because there's both a cream and a powder. And what's even more interesting is that makeup artist Patrick Ta recommends using the powder first and then the cream on top of it. The Patrick Ta site refers to this product as a pigmented, weightless powder paired with a hydrating, dewy cream, which is designed to layer together for a bold, dimensional finish. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So this is what it looks like, and the cream is on top. And what's really nice is it has a plastic cover so that the powder doesn't interfere with the cream blush. So I'm going to put the powder on first. The color looks much stronger in the palette, so I'm really glad it's coming across much more lightly when I actually apply it. Here's the interesting part. I'm going to apply the cream over it. Whoa, the cream is more strongly pigmented. It's a beautiful shade, though. I do like it. Well, I think I'm going to have to tone this down a little bit. But before I try it with foundation, I think I'm going to try the highlighter over it first and then tone it down. And I'm so glad that Steve chose the highlighter I'm going to be using. It's Rare Beauty's Liquid Luminizer. And according to the Rare Beauty website, this product has light reflecting pearl particles and a botanical blend of lotus, gardenia, and white water lily, which gives a dewy, weightless glow to the skin. It also says that it can be mixed with foundation or used alone. Since you like both colors of this particular highlighter, I'm going to mix both of them together. But first, let me show you the swatches of these two colors. They're Mesmerize and Enchant. So here are the two colors. Mesmerize is on top and Enchant on the bottom. As I mentioned, I'm just mixing them together and going to dot this on. And as you can tell, this really does give a lovely glow. Put a little bit here, put a little bit above my Cupid's bow. And now I'm using my foundation brush just to go around that whole area where I applied blush and highlighter. We're down to lipstick. Steve picked some products I've never tried together, so this will be an interesting experiment, to say the least. First, as always, I'm going to put concealer around my lips to help prevent my lipstick from feathering. I'm using my Clinique concealer. And next I'll go ahead and apply the lip liner Steve chose. It's my Age Perfect lip liner in Splendid Plum. And next is L'Oreal's matte lipstick at the drop of a matte. Unfortunately, I don't think it's still available through the L'Oreal site, but I do think it can be found elsewhere on the web. And over the matte lipstick, I'm going to apply L'Oreal's Age Perfect Vibrant Fuchsia lipstick. So at the top is L'Oreal matte lipstick, and underneath it is the Vibrant Fuchsia, also from L'Oreal from their Age Perfect line. Actually, things start to go on much creamier and easier when I'm filming because the lights in here keep this area pretty darn warm. So this is what the matte lipstick looks like alone, and now I'm going to add the Vibrant Fuchsia. And then I'm going to go ahead and top it off with Sephora's lip gloss in the color Wild. It's a very pinkish violet color. So here's the final look, courtesy of my husband, Steve. I'll have to go ahead and show him the final look after I finish filming. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If you enjoyed today's video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. And in the comments section below, I thought it might be fun to share with each other something on a totally different topic than makeup. Books. So I'd love to know a book that you've read recently that you really loved. One that I really liked was by Lori Nelson Spielman called The Star-Crossed Sisters of Tuscany. And one of the reasons I really loved it is it featured a main character. Her name was Poppy, who is 85 years old. Now, how often do we find a special 85-year-old woman who's a main character in a book? I absolutely loved that. But that's just one of the many reasons I really enjoyed this book. Until next week, take care and stay happy and healthy and have a fabulous rest of your day.